Um, What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of Amazon Seller News Live. We got Eric with us in the house, Marketplace Pros, and Danon, of course, from Ecom Triage. Gentlemen, I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, always happy to be here, man.
Yeah, the only thing missing is the cigars, as we were talking about. If we were in real life, we'd be smoking some cigars, talking Amazon, most likely.
Yep.
Good times for sure. And the wives love that smell.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's where Eric and I were last night at one of
nice.
Yeah, we had a couple of other people in the ecom space out there. And yeah, so Eric and I, just for everyone's knowledge, every other Wednesday, Eric and I host a cigar meetup for e-commerce and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, down there in Tampa.
Clearwater. Yeah, last night was Clearwater because it's only an hour from Eric, and it's a super long 5 minutes for me. But we have a distributor here that distributes to most of the cigar shops in the Tampa area, in the Southeast, actually. And they just less than a year ago opened up a customer side, and so it's pretty slick. They don't serve alcohol or anything like that, but you can bring your own, and
makes it better.
Yeah.
And as a warehouse guy, to peek into the cigar warehouse, it's pretty really well organized.
Oh, nice.
It is really well organized. Yeah.
And the colors and all. I mean, it's pretty neat to see.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be fun. So, and it's the whole manufacturing area in the warehouse, or
no,
storage?
It's fulfillment.
Fulfillment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool to check out, though.
Yeah, it's Eric's dream. When he walks into his 3PL, he wants his 3PL to look just like that.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Yeah. Eric, well, you've got your little baseball glove wallets business going. When are you going to start your cigar business?
Wow. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
It has been a topic of conversation.
We used to sell cigar cutters on Amazon, but very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. The never ending battle of entrepreneurs. You always have ideas and you always want to do them, but there's just not enough time in the day, unfortunately.
Yep. Very true.
All right. Well, I see some people rolling into the live stream. So if you're out there watching and you have any questions or comments, throw them in the chat and we'd be happy to bring them into the show. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this first article because it kind of brings one of our predictions to light here.
Mm-hmm.
And so Amazon is reportedly exploring content marketplace for AI licensing. They're discussing plans to launch a marketplace where publishers can license content directly to AI companies, though the company has not formally confirmed the initiative. Now, in the past, I was talking about how Amazon's been blocking AI from crawling their website and that I could foresee them licensing their product catalog out to these AI companies. And lo and behold, they're going to create an entire marketplace to do that for everybody. So Amazon thinking even bigger than I was thinking potentially.
Yeah.
So curious what your guys' thoughts are on this.
Yeah, one of the things that came to mind for me right away, I'm a sports guy. When I read about the Super Bowl, and I'm sure it's some sort of maybe it's even a paid service. When I'm on ESPN and they'll say the cheapest Super Bowl ticket on StubHub or the cheapest World Series ticket on TickPick is $2,000 or $3,000. There's probably all of these sites that sell products, especially marketplace sites like StubHub, Amazon, eBay, could license that data. In the sports card world, I know on eBay, there are a number of people that are connecting to the API of eBay and paying a fee to do that, to farm data.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then AI would just be next level for some of that market research, let's call it, or just regular fandom on ChatGPT. And I think on the Amazon side, it's going to be heavy on the market research rather than fandom of people wanting to know, what's the range of the price of Huggies. But I think the stock market would be very interested in a lot of that data.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's kind of been the Wild West with AI, right? Just kind of, stealing content out there to program their AI bots and things like that. So the lawsuits have already started coming over some of that. And so I think that's just going to explode. And it's going to be mandatory to have some kind of, marketplace or whatever where these AI companies can buy license to use this content included in their models.
Yeah. Another thing that comes to mind for me is artists. Artists absolutely abhor AI because you can feed it an artist's work and then say, do me this thing in the style of this picture.
Yep.
And that artist goes, that's my style. How is that possible? Right. And so we have to also think about that. So when you're licensing content, like the art is going to be a very, very big part of that.
Yeah.
And so arguably a new age of artists could arise in that they will produce art for AI to license to AI.
Sure.
And make a cut on that. And the same thing with other types of content creators, where you're going to have these people that are thinking ahead of the curve and they'll go, all right, if this is happening, why don't I just continue what I'm doing, but pivot a little bit and license this stuff out? And I can make money on 30,000 people, make a penny on 30,000 people rather than slogging to sell one print or something like that,
Yep.
And then, so I mean, there's a lot of implications. Now you think further forward in terms of governments patenting, trademarking, etc. Are we going to start to see the ability for artists and content creators, and like, I can't even fathom what it would be, but where they can patent or trademark their specific style?
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult, right? Because let's say, for example, that graphic that ChatGPT just made looks very much like a Van Gogh painting.
Right.
Like, okay, sure, but how do we prove that the AI stole that style from that artist? That's going to be a very, very interesting
Van Gogh,
aspect.
The tricky thing is here too, Van Gogh's in the public domain. So there's I don't think there's any trademark or copywriting, but I think even like Picasso, he didn't die very long ago, so he's not, and Andy Warhol, those guys. But there's a lot of Warhol disciples out there too that do similar things already.
Yep.
Yep.
But if it can be done, somebody will figure it out. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing because, for example, I could look at Picasso paintings and that could influence my paintings that I make without, really consciously trying to copy his style. But if I really liked his style, it's probably going to come through in any kind of paintings that I would do if I could paint, which I can't. But,
well, I tell you what, if you had ChatGPT, let's take this a step further, right? You could have people that produce their own, like use other people's artwork to create a render that they like through AI, print that out on canvas, then paint over it. And now it's an original painting. Right? So it's, I mean, we've just taken kindergarten tracing to a whole new level. That's all that's happening. That's what AI is good for.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you can put anything and everything on this kind of marketplace for licensing content. The question is, who's going to hold the AI companies responsible to actually pay for the license versus just like, well, the AI already figured it out because we already fed all this information, before any of this mattered. So it's going to be kind of a gray area for a long time, but you could potentially see people make some good money on a marketplace like that. Like you said, just creating paintings and music and articles or whatever the case may be, just for AI training purposes.
Yeah. Look, this is not revolutionary. It's just technologically the next step. Adobe Stock Photos has been doing this for what, maybe 2 decades, something like that. Yeah. So, you and like I pay for Envato, if anyone's ever heard of that. And there's all manner of video clips and photos and graphics and graphic packs and stuff like that. This is just the next version, a quicker version. So
the thing that I think about is like these public companies like Reddit and Quora that have all of this data. And you're right, it has been farmed 10 times over, probably thousands of times over now. But as soon as they can lock it down and as soon as they figure out how to make money on it, they will lock it down even tighter. And then all that new data, and I think that's going to be the newest data is going to be always the most valuable anyway. It should skyrocket the value of a Reddit, Facebook, with all these things that just come out right now.
Yeah. The question is, though, would a company like Reddit go onto a marketplace like this? Or are they just going to be going directly to ChatGPT or OpenAI, I should say, Perplexity and all those, and licensing it directly to them?
Good point.
Like Reddit, as you said, the newest stuff is the most important. So if Reddit was to license to OpenAI, they would give OpenAI some kind of direct API feed that's just constantly sending the latest posts over to them for training and adding right into the AI models.
Yeah.
And here's what I want to know about this marketplace. The marketplace does a really nice job of figuring out what the price actually should be. And so are we going to see the prices go up right away or is all this competition going to come and bring prices down and actually hurt the Reddits and Facebooks of this world? I don't know. Typically on Amazon, that's a marketplace. The price typically goes down, not the other way. But
yeah. I mean, I think they'll start out high. People will be a little overly ambitious and think that their drawing is worth $50 or something to the AI agents, when in reality is worth $5 or something like that.
Well, there'll be scarcity too at the beginning. There'll be one artist, the first artist, and the first sports writer, or whatever it is.
Correct.
Then if somebody can make some money, it will get flooded. The price then should come down, I think.
Yeah, and then you'll have those situations. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but I don't remember the name. But you'll have a graphic designer who will make a painting and sell it to OpenAI for $10, and then OpenAI will go on to make millions off of it. And you'll have that story come out about this poor graphic designer who licensed his work away for $10 and lost millions potentially.
Let me go to the extreme here. What if you had artists that created their art, sold it through NFTs, then licensed it out? Now you've created your own marketplace on the marketplace.
Well, NFTs, I think, could potentially be an important part of this, because that's how you prove that the work was originally yours. I just watched a video recently, Gary Vaynerchuk talking about this, that he is intentionally recording his videos and then uploading them first to the blockchain to prove that they're his videos. So then if AI generates a video with his face, he can be like, no, that's fake because it's not in my blockchain. I didn't make that.
So that's really smart. But how do I do that? I've got hundreds of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Well, YouTube would have to incorporate it. So they would have to just automatically do that for you. That's something that they could relatively easily program into place, that if you upload a video and you prove that it's yours, and you check a box to upload it to the blockchain and get a unique key back or something to prove legitimacy.
Yep. You're going to have to go through Clear on YouTube and get blockchain certified. And it's going to be a whole industry will come out of this.
Yeah. It's
content.
Have you seen some of the videos that AI has made recently?
They are unbelievable in comparison to how they were just a year ago.
Yeah,
shoot, 6 months ago even. They're
it's
unreal.
going so fast. It's just crazy. I actually seen the other day. So AI made this. Do you remember the video of Will Smith eating pasta, and the pasta was like all over his face? The AI.
No.
Well, that was back in 2023. But let me see if I can share this, and I'll share the audio as well, so you guys can actually hear it.
Okay.
But it just kind of shows how much things have changed and how quickly things have changed. So I believe if I share the tab and then share this here with audio. All right. So this is the video. So this is starting in 2023. And then it transitions to 2026. So just watch this. It's crazy.
Okay.
Oh, that's hot. That's
Now
hot.
we're in 2024.
Uncle Phil, come try this. Fresh
And
pasta of Bel Air.
2025. Now here's today, what AI can do.
So have you heard of Kling 3.0?
I heard it can create multiple scene cuts like this with a single prompt.
All AI generated.
And it knows to cut to whoever is talking.
But did you know that all this audio was also generated with the same prompt?
I guess I didn't, sir.
Study harder, kid. Eat your spaghetti.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's just it's amazing that it can be so easily generated just from a prompt. The audio, the cuts, and everything. So how long is it going to be before we're just seeing
full feature films?
Feature films, with this kind of stuff.
Yep. Did you see the one that Kevin King put up?
I didn't know. What was it?
I put a link to it. He's promoting his marketing event in Nashville, or is it BDSS? Oh shoot, I've forgotten. But anyhow.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So he did a whole bunch. Basically, all the speakers that are there, he created an AI video with them in it.
Yeah. Let me share that again with audio.
Yep.
Right
he put
there.
a song to it as well, of course.
I ain't ready for this ride. There's a thing in April 8th.
Yeah, so this is all AI generated?
Yeah.
Crush it down the army channel, King, he's breaking everyone.
Yeah, I did see this the other day, and it's really good. There's a few little like kind of cringy parts to it that is a little weird, but yeah, it's pretty amazing that you can generate the entire video and the song and everything. And some of these people I'm familiar with, their faces look a little odd to me.
Yeah,
but it's pretty amazing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's where we're going.
I want to go to Kevin's weight loss school via AI. It looks like it didn't add any pounds for this video. Kevin's looking good in that video.
They say that AI shaves off poundage. Just the camera adds it, but AI removes it.
Yeah. I think that's just natural because AI is like every human wants to be skinnier or stronger looking. So let's just do it for them. They'll like us more.
Yeah.
They'll trust us.
But yeah, so that's another thing that is really good is the panning on a scene on AI.
Yeah.
You know, so the basically that was several scenes. So he told me when he was here, actually, Eric, we had a cigar with him. But the day prior, I was sitting down with him, and he said that he had to create each one of those scenes individually per person and put it all together, which is why if you look closely, you can see a little jump. But I mean, in the world of creating this stuff, in order for me to record something like that, it would like he did it with prompts, and it would take me the time to record it, color grading, editing, sound, etc. It's like it really is unbelievable. There's a big place for this stuff in the world to shortcut, especially probably for entrepreneurs. If you can upload a 3D render of your product and list out all the features, say rotate to this image or this aspect ratio or whatever, you know, that would be huge.
Yeah, we just got to be careful because AI has gotten like almost good enough for most of this stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing that I just recently heard on the news about the Super Bowl, for example, is that people were like picking out AI parts of ads. A lot of times they got it correct. Sometimes they got it wrong just because the ad was like poorly produced. So they thought it was AI.
Yeah.
But that's something that people are catching on to, and it's starting to trigger things in their mind, and it decreases the value perception when people pick up on it.
But think about,
we have to be careful of it.
Think about 3D rendering in movies. Like in early days, you look at some of the older movies. At the time, you're like, wow, that's amazing. And then you go and you look back, you're like, wow, that was hot trash. But now, like, you don't even think twice about a scene being actually just a green screen and a fan. You know what I mean? It's like we're used to it now. And back in the days of before even YouTube, what was the name of that website? I can't remember, but there was a website that was the video website before YouTube ever came out. And that's where the first viral videos were, at least for my generation. That's where the first viral videos were going. And you started to see these extraordinary videos that people went, oh my God, look at what this thing did, whatever. And it was actually just 3D rendering.
Yep. Yeah. And that Will Smith video was in 3 years. So, and it's almost perfect. If I wasn't paying close attention and I didn't know that it was AI generated, I would just think it's a trailer for a new video or a new movie that Will Smith's coming out for.
Yeah.
If you really look closely, you can see some issues with Will Smith's face in some parts of it, but that's only because I'm actually looking for it.
Yeah.
And I think we have to remember too, right now, like in our world, AI is like really cool. We're using it for all these different things, but in the general population, AI is scary, right? Is AI going to take my job? Is it going to trick me into believing something that's not true?
Yep.
And that's what's going through the general population's mind.
Well,
where for us marketers and Amazon people, we're like, how can we use this to do our ads and everything else better?
Yep. Well, let me just set the stage for the world. Yes. The answer is yes. It's coming for your jobs. Skynet is real. Prepare.
It is. Yeah. I was just listening to a podcast today about, I think it's called, how there's vibe coding, right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Now they're coming out with vibe working, where you have a worker agent, and you tell it the outcome that you want,
Yep.
maybe set a few parameters, and then that worker agent spawns a bunch of other agents that do all the research and the work and everything and compile everything and bring back the finished product for you. So it's people are definitely going to lose their jobs in the early days from AI if they don't learn how to take advantage of it and use it.
For sure. But at the same time,
it's just going to increase the speed at which we're going to be able to do things. And so
therefore
things will
profit
go faster and faster and faster. And then the jobs will come back in different ways.
yeah.
Kind of like with a computer, right? I mean, a spreadsheet just exploded the ability to process data.
Yeah.
One person could do now what it took teams of on paper before then, you know?
Yep.
And so it's the same kind of thing. It's just going to be exponentially larger than the first computers.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we've said it forever on this podcast, like prepare for that.
Yep.
You know, take a look at your industry. You know, you are at the forefront of this technology and you can adapt to incorporate it. And if you're not, well, I mean, and honestly, I have to say, I use AI daily. I have my own GPTs that I built, but I am sorely behind when it comes to agentic AI. And because I have not built any of my own agents, and I don't know how to build my own AI where, let's say, someone can log into my website and it's referencing my own server and stuff like that. Now, granted, I'm not in this field, but I feel like I'm being left behind, particularly on agents. And so
Well,
that's
right
what's
now,
time.
Right now, it kind of feels like we're in, you know, the Windows 95 days of AI, right? You know, you've got the graphical user interfaces, but every once in a while, you're like, you got to jump over to the command prompt and run some commands to get things going. And so it won't be very long before we're just in like the, you know, the cell phone days of AI, where it's just like using your cell phone and it becomes as easy as that. You'll have agents and you'll just click on it, it'll run and it'll bring you the report or whatever it's doing, and you won't even think about it. It's just going to happen. That's going to come very quickly, a lot faster than.
And it's already starting with the agents are thinking before you're thinking. I wake up in the morning and Alexa tells me you've got an order recommendation. It seems like it's time to order this or that. And eventually those are just going to start to get shipped from Amazon, or the sites that have a balance sheet they can suffer the up and down. That stuff is just going to get shipped, and somebody's going to make a ton of money at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, that, and you know, you're going to log into your Gmail and it's going to say, "Hey, you got you're almost out of coffee filters. You got them on Amazon last time. They're $2 cheaper over on Walmart. You want me to order them for you?" Yeah, go ahead and cancel my subscription on Amazon while you're at it. It'll just go ahead and do it for you.
In order for us to get to that point, though, we have to give unadulterated access to our lives.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's the trade-off for sure.
Exactly. Like I was just invited to this thing called what was it? I forget, but it was a networking thing, right? And it said, "Hey, you know, we can take the people that you are connected with and search through all their connections and see who are good people that you should meet and be connected to." So I'm like, okay, so this is like LinkedIn with AI. All right, fine. And then I go to create my account and it says give access to review and edit your entire emails, like my Gmail account. I'm like, F that.
Yeah.
I'm not giving access to all that data. Like there's unbelievable amounts of like sensitive company information, employee information, you know, in my Google Drive, in my email, etc. So that's going to be the trade-off. Like you open the books to your entire life and livelihood in order for the convenience of saying, hey, Telemachus, I need you to order me another bottle of scotch. I'm lonely. Oh, well, let me tell you a little sad story while you're lonely and I order you your bottle of scotch.
Yes. And you want me to spin up a romantic bot while I'm at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how great you are.
Well, Eric, you run a pretty big, 3PL and warehouse selling on Amazon and stuff like that. Is there any point where you would be comfortable opening up all that data to an AI system?
So, right now that answer would be no. But at some point, one of the, I'm a baseball card guy, so also these baseball card content creators. And these baseball card content creators, the big ones, make more money on their content than they do selling baseball cards.
Yeah.
And so if it was some sort of partnership where I shared the data and my customers got to have a 3PL service for free, I'm sure if my customer said that's okay, fine by me.
Yeah.
But it would have to be, it's like a three-way partnership. But there's likely some opportunities there in the future where your data is more valuable than what you actually do. And on Amazon, as all of us know, the margins on Amazon are single digit margins, unless you are extremely lucky, have some sort of weird patent. But at scale, we're mid to high single digit margins. So if we can add, every point is so valuable at scale. Yeah, so valuable. There's likely something there for people that are working in adjacent industries to Amazon, I think.
Yeah, and that's always the thing is the benefit has to outweigh the perceived privacy violation.
Right.
A lot of us have given up a lot of information on our phones because of the value that we perceive we're getting back from giving up that data. So we do it all the time. Facebook is a perfect example. We put a lot of information in there, trusting Facebook with that data because we perceive the value that we get back is greater than what we're giving up. And so AI will have to do that same thing. For example, thinking way out in the future, well, maybe not that far out, but Eric, let's say, for example, OpenAI is like, okay, open up all of your systems, give us all of your data. We've got these robots and bots that are going to feed off of that and run all of your systems. And then the actual robots are going to come in and do all the packing and everything else. And now you've got a fully autonomous warehouse running on your data. Is that enough benefit to say, okay, yeah, take all my data. I don't have to pay any more, warehouse workers or whatever the case may be.
It's something that every company is going to have to look at, because if I don't, somebody else will, and then I'm out of business. Now, I think there still is going to be room for boutique type shops. When you go to the fanciest restaurant in your town, you've got 6 waiters at your table. When you fly first class, you've got extra flight attendants, right? So people will be willing to will pay for white glove service, but white glove is 5% of any market. So if you want to run a big business, you've got to look at everything like that.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely will not be a good day for the warehouse workers. That's for sure. So definitely don't want to laugh at that. People losing their jobs, of course, but this kind of stuff is coming. It's basically inevitable. It's kind of like trying to go back in time and stop the tractor from
100%.
popular.
There's horse to tractor, and the thing I always go back to, there's somebody's job used to be, his job was to, or her job was to light the street lights, fire.
Yes.
Now we have lights, and the world is a better place for it. It's a safer place for it. And nobody's saying, oh my God, I wish we had people that rode around and lit the lights with fire.
Yeah.
In my opinion, workers will find the next job. Somebody will always need a person to do something manually. I think, record that and play that back to me 50 years from now. But
I think what scares people the most is that what used to be a once in a lifetime change is now like an every 5 to 10 year change.
It's good.
And so it's just going so fast. There's no way my dad is going to learn how to utilize AI to be a better construction worker. He's just, he's not going to figure that out. So if that time ever came, I mean, he's close enough to retirement that it'd be fine for him anyways. But, somebody in their 50s, for example, who's done construction his whole life, or maybe he's a construction project manager, and now AI is going to come in and do all those projects for the company. What does he do, and how does he figure out his next steps in life? Those are the kind of things that we need to figure out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Todd, if I think everybody, every person that's married has got a long honey-do list of projects that a carpenter could fix in their house, right?
True.
And so as AI comes into the construction world, it will drive prices down. And now because prices have come down, I'm going to do more work at my house. I'm going to fix that stair. True. I'm going to build that bar, all the things I want at my house. But it's expensive right now. And so I believe there's still opportunities there for the market to grow because of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good. Yeah, AI, very awesome. Lots of cool opportunities coming and challenges as well for people. But, if you let the free market kind of work, bringing down prices is a prime example that, now somebody who couldn't remodel their basement now can afford it. And the demand goes up, and you need more people to do that kind of thing. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. That is for sure. But let's go ahead and jump on to our next article here. I'm going to jump to this one. All right. So this is the top Amazon third-party sellers. So let me jump to that. So top Amazon third-party sellers show revenue concentration and volatility in February. So data for February show Bayland Health is leading at $1.15 billion in revenue from a single seller. Let me bring up this graph. It's a little bit nicer, I think, for us to look at. While several major sellers posted steep declines and growth remained concentrated among a small group of U.S. and China-based operators. So why I thought this was interesting is one, it's kind of cool to look at some of these top sellers and, try to model what they're doing or look at what they're doing. But what was really interesting, I thought, because we all know that Chinese sellers have kind of taken over Amazon. And while that's still the case, as far in terms of volume of sales, the U.S. sellers actually still control the volume. So 51% of the top sellers by country is USA, where
U.S.
is China.
I mean, U.S. businesses.
Yes, U.S. registered businesses. The seller is based in the U.S., so they may be a front for a factory in China. That's a good point, Dana.
There's an extremely large amount of companies Chinese companies that they have facilities here in the United States where they can create these Delaware corporations, Wyoming corporations, etc. I mean, Delaware and Wyoming, you can get a registered agent and go pay $1,000 through a company like, I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but they will create your business, file your paperwork, be the registered agent on file, and handle all tax and legal communications.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be here. And I can't remember, an LLC, if you're an S corp, you have to have a social security number, but with an LLC, you can be an international individual or corporation,
just a holding company.
LLC. Yeah, exactly. And
so a lot of companies will do that just to hold their IP and stuff like that in a separate entity.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
that's a good point. So it may not be as bright of a spot as I was originally thinking.
Just not quite as black and white, you know?
Yeah.
One other thing I would talk about with this is like, how much does it matter? Nike has been made in Asia and Vietnam
Mhm.
forever. We consider Nike a U.S. company. They still have a ton of employees here.
Yeah.
I think I prefer to buy made in USA, but we're not there yet. Even though I wear Brooks tennis shoes, those might be made in USA. I'm not sure, but the thing, I think it still matters that the seller is US based. To contradict Damon just a little bit, because those are still good. If I'm a Amazon reseller, which a lot of people have been listening to probably are, I have a ton of employees that help support my business right here in the United States, even though the wrenches are made in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But as
Yeah.
the Chinese come over, the Taiwanese come over here and open their own warehouses, I would even say that's a little bit okay. If they're an immigrant coming here legally, going through the right channels, and paying taxes and raising a family in the United States, like that's a good thing for the United States too. I'd love to get all the manufacturing back here, but that might be a few generations from now before we see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. And, I don't have any problem with a U.S. company making their products in China necessarily. That's not the issue for me. For me, it's more who has the liability in the United States. If you're not a U.S. based company and the microwave that I bought from you blows up and harms my wife or something, who's liable for that? Is
Who do you
there
get to shoot?
company in the United States that I can, hold liable for that?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a big aspect of it. So yeah, the Chinese companies coming over, opening up warehouses and everything. Now they've got everything that a U.S. company would need to have in terms of insurance and taxes and everything else that they're backing up the products that they're selling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I use AI all the time for, especially if I'm buying anything for my daughter. My wife will send me something. She's like, "Oh, this is really nice. We should get this." I'll take it and I'll throw it into AI and I'll copy the name of the seller and where they're from and be like, who actually owns this company and where are they from? And they'll be like, well, this LLC is owned by this person who's from this place and, Bulgaria or something like that, I think was one of the last ones that I was looking at. And it's nice to find out that data and make sure that, what you're buying is most likely or more likely safe. And if it's not, there's somebody behind it that you can actually hold responsible for it.
You make a really good point here is that I think that as consumers, especially as parents, new parents, we're much more educated in the ways of like commerce and like ingredients and stuff like that. And it would be, I think it'd be a really good thing to have it easily transparent. Well, basically, I think that companies should be transparent with everything. Where is it manufactured? What are the ingredients? Etc. Because it's like you have these Chinese companies on Amazon. If they're in China, well, cool, you can see that. But then as a consumer, I go, all right, with the amount of experience that I've had buying direct from Chinese companies, it has been almost all not great, or bad, where I bought something and it is junk. And so I become wary of that. And so the way the Chinese companies handle that is they create this LLC in Wyoming or Delaware. And now it's a US company. And I go, look, I'm like, oh, cool. They're based in Delaware. Nice. Yeah. But it's not actually transparent, So
yeah, not directly. This last product that I looked up, I forget what it was, but I threw it into AI and it found what it did is it went out and it found the trademark, the owner of the trademark for that brand, and the owner of the trademark was different from the company. So then it followed that name and figured out that this is a company that's actually registered in Bulgaria, but they have this US LLC that's a holding company for these trademarks that they're selling on Amazon. So yeah, it's nice to get that transparency, and it'd be cool to have that right inside of Amazon. I don't know that we'll ever
Well,
have that because it's not
yeah.
really beneficial for Amazon for people to know that and throw up that block to just hitting the buy now button.
Yeah. Exactly.
It is
I don't
out there.
see
That's a
that.
benefit of AI is that you can use it to look that kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
One other interesting thing here is so these are the growth by revenue for the top sellers. So Bayland Health went up 65%, while Grove US decreased by 74%. It's like, wow, that's that hurts. Such a sharp decline in 1 month in revenue. And I looked these guys up. They sell smart light essentially for living rooms and stuff like that. So I don't know if there was just some kind of big boom in December and January for these kind of lights, and now they just tanked kind of thing. But it's interesting to maybe see different kind of trends and stuff like that off of this data.
Yeah.
So any other thoughts on that before we move on to the next article, guys?
Yeah, I'll give you one thought on the decline, but it goes counterintuitive. Those lights, when you said December and lights, I thought Christmas lights immediately, but likely those are getting ordered in October, November, and returned in December, January, and so when you see these big decreases, I'm thinking anybody that had a big holiday season, their sales fall off because they're seasonal, and you tack on returns on top of that. That makes a big difference.
Yeah. And, just looking at this company's website, these do look like things that probably would be a cool Christmas gift for someone, because it looks like lights that go behind your TV or light up the outside of your house and things like that. So
Philips has been doing this for a long time.
Philips. Yeah.
Philips Hue, HUE.
That's right. Yep.
But yeah, pretty big drop, that's for sure. That would be a difficult one for inventory forecasting. That's for sure, to see that kind of incline and then decline. And if you don't get that right, you could be hurting, either doing removal orders from FBA or paying a lot of storage fees.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a big season like that with your products that you sell, Eric?
We don't. No, we used to have more the Home Depot and the Lowe's like Christmas type specials of like battery powered tools, and they're expensive, and we'd have a huge holiday bump. Those companies didn't particularly like us selling on Amazon at the prices that we did, so we just sell a lot less of those today. We do have some 3PL customers that are in the collegiate wear space. And so leading up to college football, so that's June, July gets very busy for us for that, but not on Amazon. On Amazon, we have virtually no seasonality. We fall off just a little bit at the first of the year. I think it's just post-Christmas. We can't quite figure that part out, but it's just a little bit.
Okay. All right, very good. Yeah, in the sporting goods niche that I'm in, February, March, and April are like the hot months.
Yeah.
Even over and above like November, December timeframe. November and December does good as well. Gifting, obviously, but February, March, and April, people are like, summer's coming. Let me get all the summer outdoor stuff, So yeah, you got to prepare and have your logistics or inventory, I should say, ready to go for that. All right, let's jump on to the final story here. We've got about 8 minutes left, and we'll get back to a little bit of AI stuff here quick. So e-commerce as AI agent as a chief of staff. So Gary Wong says he replaced parts of his virtual assistant's work with an AI agent for research, reporting, and daily briefings but also ran into reliability, memory, and security issues within the first week. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Clawbot. Have you heard of Clawbot at all?
No.
Or now it's called OpenClaw.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
played with it a little bit as well. It's kind of cool, but kind of buggy right now because it's in like extreme beta. But what it is it's an AI system that you install on a computer, and it can control the computer almost like a human. So it can use the browser, it can access the file system and everything else. So yeah, just think of the security issues with that. If you play with it, they recommend you have like a virtual computer set up. So, like I bought a VPS system that was virtually running that I could log into with a remote desktop to play with it. And I got it to do some things. I had to start researching some products that I sell on eBay to update the bullets and titles and stuff like that. And it worked, but it kept like stopping. And I'd be like, are you doing anything? And be like, oh yeah, let me continue working on this.
Just like a real employee.
Yeah, just like a real employee.
Like, what are you doing? Browsing Facebook or what's going on over there? But
Sorry, I was just at the water cooler.
yeah. So after I played with it after reading Gary's post, and so he kind of ran into the same things where bugs and stuff like that. But I just thought it was a cool thing to kind of talk about because it shows the way that AI is potentially going, where it's not just in your browser, but also installed on a computer system and acting like a physical employee would, doing all of the tasks, following SOPs and downloading CSV files and turning them into reports and all that kind of stuff that maybe right now you got to do manually because systems don't work together properly.
Yeah.
And now you can put in an AI agent and do all that stuff instead of a virtual employee potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, did you give the agent like your eBay password so it could make those changes, or how would that look like?
I didn't give it to them, but I had it saved in the browser, so it could log in with that. But I didn't give it the actual password.
Got it.
That sounds that could be like the old days of the auto upbid of eBay.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And if you're going to do this kind of stuff, create separate user accounts, limit the access that the bot has. The bigger security hole that this had is to communicate with it. You can do it through a command line interface, but most people are connecting it to either a WhatsApp messaging or Telegram or Discord or something like that.
Yeah.
And so these are going through ports on the computer. So if you don't have those ports locked down properly, theoretically, if somebody else got the IP address of your computer, they could connect to that port as well.
Right.
And now they've got access to your bot and can tell it to send me all the information that Eric has on his customers.
Yeah, it's this is quite similar. This is almost like a tool built version of when you would go to websites and it would install cookies on your browser, and then every time you were in your browser, it would actually be functioning and scraping data, and then your browser would get really slow and you'd have to close it and clear cookies and all that stuff and restart it. But this could end up being a version like that. Like, okay, cool, I've got my Clawbots going, and in the background, Clawbots is going, oh, and by the way, also go take a look at go scrape this information on every user that's on the internet.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to be careful of those kind of things for sure. And the other thing that I just thought of, we've got this AI system that could potentially do all of the actions that a virtual employee could do if you gave it access to do it. And once it gets better, I'm sure it will do it just fine. But the other thing that you want to think of when you're working with AI is, you could give it your SOP of what you're trying to do and then ask it, is there some way we could do this better? You know, do you really need to be downloading all these spreadsheets and incorporating it, or could the AI just connect to an API, download it and upload it, and it takes 2 seconds
I know.
instead of manually doing it over the course of 5 to 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah, that's something that I seriously need to look into myself, is that I use spreadsheets extensively. Like, you know, I have my spreadsheet for my events. I've got a spreadsheet of years worth of networking data with companies, and whether they've got newsletters and podcasts and communities and events and all that stuff, all like hundreds, literally probably 10,000 plus lines of all these different people, companies, etc., services in the Amazon space. But in order for me to manipulate that data, it is literally like months worth of work for me.
Yeah.
So how do I get that and streamline that and say, go look at every one of these things and find out if they have if they're actively doing a podcast. If yes, good, then change this field and mark it to yes. That would save me gargantuan amounts of time.
Mm-hmm.
So we have people on our team that are like software guys, and they write if it's in Excel or Google Sheets, they're writing scripts to do that, or they're just writing a small little. They're using Claude to write little software programs to do these types of things, and that's, to me, as I was seeing what Gary had to say here about the agents, we essentially make our own little agents. It's not one, but it's all these different little programs that do things while we sleep and get run before an important meeting or whatever. But it's manual. Claude writes it, but somebody still has to come up with it and hit go on said report.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing too that you got to think of is whether it's worth setting it up in AI, at least right now. Because I know I've found myself sometimes I'll spend like a couple hours trying to get something to work. And then I'm like, I'm just going to send this over to my VA and she'll have it done in like 5 minutes. Why am I spending hours trying to code this thing and smashing my head against the wall because I'm getting errors? Maybe I'll just let my employee do this one right now. It's not that difficult. So you got to find that balance as well. But yeah, lots of cool things. But we're over the top of the hour, looks like now. So appreciate you guys coming on the show. A lot of AI stuff. It seems like we're talking more and more about AI on this show every single week. But I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, as AI just comes into everything we do nowadays.
Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be the AI version of us talking about AI, and then we'll just be fishing.
Yes. You know, I've actually played with that, doing the podcast with an AI script.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT takes the news, creates a script, and then I upload that script into another AI that replicates my voice. And I've released several of those podcasts, and they're pretty good. They get, you know, a lot of views and downloads just like the normal ones. So,
well, I mean,
I always make sure it's clear that it's AI and not me, though. So I don't anybody.
I want an AI Dana.
Yeah, an AID.
Keep me alive, but an AI Dana would be fine.
Yeah, just have him in a separate window. He'll be over there smoking cigars.
That's right. Yeah.
Every once in a while, chime in with some wisdom.
That's right. Yeah, that's what that was actually what Eric's and my cigar meetups originally started as, was just like share wisdom. You know, Eric is I'm gonna toot your horn for you, Eric. No, I'm not gonna toot your horn. Never mind. Yeah, but he's an excellent CEO and very, very, really knowledgeable when it comes to running a corporation and the finances and the investments of family and business and stuff like that. And how do you run your money so that your money is making you money and stuff like that. And so I've always leaned on him for advice on that. And then because I have a huge network and experience with lots of other people in the Amazon and e-com sector, he'll say, hey, have you ever heard of this thing or that thing? And I'll say whatever I have to say. but arguably, occasionally, I also give him a few nuggets of ideas to implement into his own business. He once hired me as an intercontinental consultant for his company. So I went out to his facility, and I ended up with, what was it, 8 or a 12-page report, Eric, something like that.
Dossier.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff for him to look into. And some of it he did. Some of it he's like, that's bullshit.
Too hard.
Yeah.
Too hard. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. It's easy. I shouldn't say it's easy to give recommendations, but it's easier to see the problems that other people have and point out solutions.
That's right.
Than it is to implement those or make yourself implement all those solutions all the time.
Yeah. It all comes down to planning, like is like, this is something I didn't have in mind at the time that I was doing this for Eric, but there are simple things that you can fix that will fix a lot of things and generate revenue. And then there are things that you should fix or improve that are much more of a expecting a unicorn result and takes a lot of time and effort and has a really long runway. But it all comes down to like planning for reality, what's really actually going to get the thing done. And then what's the plan to get there? So that was the thing that I think I missed in part, is for every observation was coming up with a step-by-step plan for implementation. But anyhow,
and that's that's something that AI could be really good at, coming up with that step-by-step plan. It can do a ton of research for you after you figure out, these are the things that need to be fixed. Now let's throw it into AI and figure out possible ways to fix it.
Yeah, you know what, Eric? I'm going to do that. I'm going to take that plan that I wrote up and see what AI comes of it. Yeah. And then I'll charge you like $10,000. Like, hey, listen, I broke this down for you.
Yeah. Just had this chat message come in, and then we'll wrap up. Syed said there are different AIs available right now with which we can create our own virtual clone for meetings. And he says one of them is HiGen AI tools to create your own clone.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Next time you guys don't even need to show up, you can just pretend to show up, and the AI will answer everything for you.
Yep. But then what happens when your meeting counterpart goes, can you just like get your camera and show me where you are? And then you you're like, oh, okay. And it like goes to like a mountain range and then a beach.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up and let you get back to your days. Eric, back to pickleball. So have fun with that.
Will do.
The benefit of being the CEO of your company, right?
That's exactly right. The world's greatest job.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right. See ya.
Talk to you later.